Quiet on set!
And action.
Welcome back to the Quiet on Set podcast. I'm Ewan Graf and I'm joined by Kevin Taelemans. And let me tell you, first and foremost, in the name of the whole Quiet on Set team, I wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you got through the holidays all right and are as ready as we are to take on 2026. One movie at a time.
That's right. Today on the program, we are giving an overview of all of the movies. Okay, maybe not, all of them, but still like a lot of them of that 2026 has to offer. We're also going to talk about the last 2025 movie that was released on New Year's Eve, like just before the finish line on Netflix. An animated movie called 100 Meters. And hey, Ewan, quickly remind me what we can tell the people shortly about whose movies to expect in 2026.
In 2026, we are getting movies from Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, Ryosuke Hamaguchi, Mike Lee, Pedro Almodovar, M. Night Shyamalan, James Gray, David Fincher, Greg Araki, Ruben Östlund, Hirokazu Koreeda, Abel Ferreira, Annie Baker, Jeremy Saulnier, Brad Bird, Boots Riley, Tom Ford, Robert Eggers, Nicholas Winding Refn, Kathy Yan, Ira Sachs, Joel Cohen, Ridley Scott, Andrew Hay, Zack Snyder, Greta Gerwig, Lee Chang-dong, David Lowry, Ashka Fahadi, John Carney, Robert Zemeckis, Christian Mongio, Shane Schonbrun, Steven Spielberg, and I've long run out of breath to name any more of them. But trust me, this isn't even the half of them. Don't you dare say cinema is dead. There's so much coming in 2026. But that's a lot of movies, Kevin. For our show today, we are gonna go from mass appeal to personal picks, and we'll start off with the biggest movies of the year, which is industry speak for sequel, requel, remake, reboot, all of that. And then we'll go over certain, genres with animation, with horror. And then there's so many. We wanted to limit our personal picks to 26. It's honestly, we're just gonna talk a whole bunch about the most anticipated films. We also have a list accompanied in the description that I think is probably best for you to just check out. Leave a like for Kevin because he assembled over 200 movies that he's the most excited for. I also have a list that it's just my personal watch list, which has a lot of the slop that Minions free is on mine.
which I can't believe because you hate Minions so much. But
no, wait, it might have been that actually might have been the one that I left off, just in protest of that movie's existence.
Do you want me to verify? Do you want me to verify?
It's
still on there. Still on there. It's still on there.
Do we want to run through the blockbusters? I think we can also do the categories of hey, these are the blockbusters that are there can be reboots or whatever, but just the non-sequels, and then we'll go through the sequels. And I think we can already say I think for most of them it's apparent what we probably will be excited for and what most people will be excited for and what is just the more casual movie going experience. But can you run us through the non-sequel blockbusters of 2026?
Alright, the non-sequel blockbusters, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna start with The Odyssey. Then we got Disclosure Days, Spielberg. Then we got Project Hail Mary. We got Supergirl. We got The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. We got Clayface, Resident Evil, Moana, Street Fighter, Harpers, Goat, The Legend of Aang, Narnia, Remain, Masters of the Universe, Highlander, Reminders of Him, Verity, Raygun, Hexed, Michael, Send Help, Normal, Wuthering Heights, Coyote vs. Acme, finally, and Sense and Sensibility. We should also clarify, we're going to talk about a lot of movies, and all of the movies aren't necessarily slated for 2026. They could be delayed. It's inevitable.
Highlander, right?
Yeah, like Highlander, because while that movie was slated for this year, I believe Henry Cavill got injured during production, so they had to delay production, some shooting. So I don't know if that's still ready to come out this year. Those are all the blockbuster non-sequels. Do you want me to say the sequels as well?
Yeah, well, what we can already notice, a lot of the originality, at least, from stuff that isn't based on something else, is usually in animation, which is kind of surprising. That's all of the other stuff is either adaptations of novels or some sort of sequel, some connection to another franchise. But yeah, give me the sequels.
By the way, can I just say, so we have a document that we prepare the show notes in, and I love how you did the sequels, just like Discussing Film does. You know how they
I
start small
it.
and then
yeah. This is directly from Discussing Film.
I knew it.
And then I added in a few that they left off.
Alright, sequels. We got Fall 2, Scream 7, Jumanji 4, Minions 3, Toy Story 5, Greenland 2, Dune Part 3, Angry Birds 3, Scary Movie 6, Fucker-in-Law, our first movie with not a number in it.
Yeah, but it's the fourth one.
I know. I guess they could have Fucker-in-Law.
Yeah. they're not trying things anymore with naming conventions.
Violent Night 2, Enola Holmes 3, Air Bud Returns, Mortal Kombat 2, Practical Magic 2, Super Troopers 3, Evil Dead Burn, Avengers Doomsday, Godzilla Minus Zero, The Social Reckoning, Heartstopper Forever, The Devil Wears Prada 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, The Strangers Chapter 3, Paw Patrol The Dino Movie, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Adventures of Cliff Booth, Insidious The Bleeding World, The Super Mario Galaxy Movie, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and last but not least, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man.
Notable years, there's a few like sequels that are sequels to shows like Peaky Blinders. Like what else is in there? That's like
The Mandalorian and Grogu, Heartstopper Forever, and Peaky Blinders. Those are basically the three.
Those three.
Yeah,
a lot of movies that just are like the second in line as well, which I guess is to be expected. You know, you had a hit and then you do another one, but to me, like something like The Devil Wears Prada 2 existing is crazy. It's like.
You mean in 2026?
Yeah, in 2026. And I feel like also The Adventures of Cliff Booth is crazy that like David Fincher is gonna be, you know, on this instead of working on something else because Tarantino doesn't want to do it. But
I mean, I think it's rather exciting though that you know Tarantino wrote that thing and he said like I'm not gonna film it, and then Brad Pitt was like, okay, but can I? You know, take the script to David Fincher, and the fact that David Fincher said yes to that is an interesting prospect, though. You can say about the dude what you want. Tarantino is a very good screenwriter, very talented director, so I am like curious to see what he has written down on the paper.
I love when his characters talk in movies. I just don't like him talking. He's fucking annoying as fuck. But I like his screenwriting and what he brings to life. But honestly, for me, the most anticipated here is Paw Patrol, the Dino movie. But yeah, or Minions 3, or Jumanji 4. We had a fight about that. Cause like in some places it's listed as Jumanji 3, but it's the fourth movie. But we'll see what they go with. It would be easier to just like have Jumanji and then like some other subtitles, so we don't have to argue about that all the time. But also the premise for Fall 2, which like you know, is the movie where they climb up a pole and then they. I guess spoilers. They maybe they die, maybe they don't. But like the sequel is like one of those characters who died, sister, just going on another trip. It's like we're getting the whole family here.
And then in the third one, you got the grandma doing it.
Yeah, it's a generational run. Yeah, but with all of those, you know, big movies out of the way, obviously we're gonna look at all of the auteurs and the people we name dropped at the beginning. Which weren't really mentioned here other than like, you know, someone like Spielberg or Nolan,
Villeneuve.
Yeah, exactly.
And
we're not going to mention like the director who's doing Sunrise on the Reaping for the Hunger Games or like, you know. But question is, which of those, you know, looking at 2025 and the box office discussion was still like sort of like, hey, have we settled into this new reality post COVID of the sort of maximum gross that can come from the box office, or are we maybe in 2026 in for a year that is a bit like, you know, with the top end, the highest grossing movies, are they gonna be higher up again? Because if you look at it, there's a bunch of movies with a high ceiling. Like what will the year be like? Because if we look at 2025, 3 movies so far have made more than $1 billion. Neja 2 across $2 billion. Zootopia 2 is currently at 1.5, and Lilo and Stitch just got over 1 billion. And at the time of recording, Avatar: Fire and Ash is on track to cross 1 billion soon as well. It's currently at 934 million. Now, all of this, like, analyzing a movie's value through its monetary gross is like, that's not what we're all about, because we spotlight the movies that didn't even get a theatrical release, didn't even come out. So like, this is not our main thing, and I think we're not really invested here, but I feel like it's still kind of interesting to like at a glance think, how is a movie going to resonate and maybe also culturally be relevant for the amount of people who seek it out. So first up, with the pairing of Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday, will those movies both gross over $1 billion, and will Dune 3 maybe outgross Avengers Doomsday? What do you think?
I mean, I think all the cards are on the table and all the possible outcomes are on the table. I don't think you can say anything that is definitive yet. Avengers Doomsday is clearly playing into nostalgia, doing the teasers with Steve Rogers, Captain America, with Thor, and I hate that they go this route, because it's like you got your X-Men, you got your Thunderbolts, your New Avengers, you got your Fantastic Four, and you're still decided to go with the old big three. So I hate that they're leaning into this, but at the same time, I didn't care for the Steve Rogers Captain America teaser at all. But that Thor teaser was pretty fucking good. I hate to admit that, because like I don't want this type of marketing into nostalgia to work, but admittedly it did. I haven't seen the Doctor Doom trailer yet, because that's
that
with RDJ.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the three, and then they're gonna do an actual like trailer for Doomsday, I guess. And you got Dune. Dune has grossed a lot over the years in terms of box office, in terms of followers, and the only problem is you are competing with two big movies, and I know IMAX. Hey, those movies love the IMAX format, but Dune is actually shot in IMAX, whereas with Avengers they always do the we just leave a bit more room in the frame.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's gonna win. But what I do know is that it's like, I'm going to both movies on day one. That's for sure. So, yeah.
They've both said they're not moving. To me, that is still quite surprising, especially because of that, limited, because Disney's going to fight for those IMAX screens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
And then it's also the question of, do both studios want this Doomsday thing to happen? Because it has already a name. People are quite excited for it. But here the problem is, like you said, when we were talking last night, it's like Dune and Avengers, they definitely have an overlapping audience, whereas Barbenheimer, with Barbie and Oppenheimer, that wasn't really the case. So yeah. We don't really know if they will move. Like, are they sort of like waiting each other off? I don't know. They also have competition with Angry Birds 3 coming out the week after. Hey.
Same kids, just going to see Dune. I guess for Avengers, I feel like with Dune, it might be a slightly older audience, but not by much. And also with Avengers, with how much they've marketed nostalgia, it's also that is trying to appeal to the people who are like in their 30s, maybe even, who started watching this and maybe our age, 20s. But yeah, it's going to be an eventful end of the year.
Do you want to talk about the movie that are potentially going to reach $1 billion? That are like our predictions?
Yeah, I feel like both Dune and Avengers Doomsday could very likely get to $1 billion. I think that Avengers Doomsday will for sure make it. I want to have a hot take and say that Dune 3 makes like more money than Avengers Doomsday. I just don't see that happening. It would be very hype. I think it both
unless Timothée Chalamet does another extremely great marketing that just trumps the Avengers.
Well, the thing is, I haven't read Dune Messiah yet, but I think it might, I don't know if that story is as, I'm sure that it will make it grand and epic and all, but I feel like I got the feeling that it's smaller, but it might not be at all. That's one of my things that I'm doing. I'm trying to read as many of the sort of things that I adapted this year. I didn't get it done for Dune 1. I didn't get it done for Dune 2. Now I'm gonna do it for Dune.
Fun fact, 3. I actually got a book, the Dune trilogy, and I haven't read any of them.
Yeah, I got them as well. They've been in the background for years in the podcast, but I Never
But
got
yeah, look, let's quickly mention other movie that could make 1 million. Spider-Man: Brand New Day could make 1 million. I don't
billion,
think
yeah.
Supergirl is going to, but it's gonna make definitely more than half a billion. Super Mario Galaxy movie, Toy
Yes.
Story 5,
Yes.
Minions 3, Angry Birds 3. I don't think so, but it's just those three animated movies. I don't know when they release exactly in the year, but if they're spread enough, because I remember the first Mario movie came out after
April.
like such a dry period of nothing animated. And like so suddenly all of the parents, all of the kids went out to see Mario multiple times.
Honestly,
so that's why it grew so big.
They're perfectly spaced out. Mario movie is in April again. I think like the first one. Then in June, you're getting Toy Story 5, and then Minions 3 at the beginning of July. So I feel like
And Hoppers?
Hoppers is
That's March.
Hoppers is in March, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And Goat is in February. So like all of them are kind of spaced out. Coyote versus Acme. Oh my god, I didn't know that until August we gotta wait for that one.
I'm just glad it comes out after all the drama. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
I feel like it won't. I feel like it will get to like 600 million.
I don't think so either, because again, first of all, you have to watch 3.5 seasons of Star Wars, like 3 seasons of Mandalorian and Grogu, and then half a season of that Boba Fett, because Mandalorian, you know, technically it basically takes over in that second season of Boba Fett. So that's already the thing of like, do I want to catch up on that? Are they gonna do a recap in the movie itself? But at the same time, then you see the Stranger Things finale reaches $25 million in the box office in theaters. So people are maybe excited for that after all. And it's been a while since we had a Star Wars movie. But my only problem is that the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer very much looks like the show. And the show is already cinematic, but it's like, you know, that change of medium doesn't really feel that different.
Mm-hmm. I think Michael is also going to make a billion.
Really?
I would be really surprised if it doesn't. Michael it's so big. It's like an audience that it's not Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. It's
no, but I'm
Michael
also
Jackson.
thinking about Bohemian Rhapsody.
And Bohemian
Rhapsody was big, like was 800 million or something. But I don't know if that's the same potential.
I thought
as Michael.
Bohemian Rhapsody didn't. I thought that got to $1 billion, but I guess it didn't. I feel like Michael is one that could get there. I think Moana is not like. I feel like looking at this, there might be a downturn where some of these don't make $1 billion, but I feel like we might be in a year where we get like
Bohemian Rhapsody made 910.
No. Okay, got really close. I like. I don't know, it really depends if like it's Michael Part 1 and they market it bad and everything. I feel like that has such a potential to make so much money.
But I do think there's like potential, you know, for $1 billion movies. $1 billion movies, not really $1 billion movies, $1 billion movies.
Billion movies is what it feels like by the end of the year, making like top lists. Yeah, there's also Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't know if Hunger Games movies were ever over $1 billion. There might have been.
No,
I don't think that this one will, though. Hexed, another like Disney movie that I think is like in the last few years they kind of always flopped. So
very quickly, Hunger Games 695 million, so basically 700. Catching Fire 865 million. Mockingjay Part 1 758 million. Mockingjay Part 2 664 million. Hunger Games, Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, 361 million. So
yeah, probably in that range. Maybe a bit more than that, because like this is a pretty,
depending on how good it is,
it's a pretty hype story that was teased, and there's already like fan fictions about it all. Like I've literally, when it was the hype, like I not those type of fan fictions. I did like read some of the like fan fictions of the event, and there was also like a short film that was made about it, like a couple of them on YouTube, and they were pretty well made as well. So it's basically like a story where they double, you know, the amount of tributes, and then it just goes crazy. But you already know who's going to win, so I don't know how like I don't know how.
Or they're gonna, or they're gonna do a little twist like, oh, there were two or some bullshit like that, you know?
Yeah, because it feels like, but I don't know. We don't have to go into a Hunger Games review right now, but I was about to. Then and also Jumanji 4. I don't see that movie making $1 billion, but there's like Dune. I can see Dune 3, The Odyssey, Disclosure Day. I don't know how well. Yeah,
Disclosure.
No, Disclosure Day definitely. Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday. The Super Mario Galaxy movie. I personally think that Michael could get there. Toy Story, Moana, and Minions. So for me, the like max potential for this year, and also not too unlikely, is that we get 10 $1 billion movies, which would be fucking crazy. Because I think the total
It would be
gross,
crazy, and it would be very much needed. That like
wasn't
I
the
do
total
think this
gross
year,
of the box office like 9 billion in like total? No, wait, that can't be.
No. But I do think 2026 is a much needed win for cinema.
Yeah.
I'm saying it already now. Like I'm like that's my prediction. That cinema is gonna sort of revitalize this year. More people, because again, most of the films that we've listed are event cinema.
And we don't, these aren't even the ones that we the most like. Some of them are the ones that we're excited about. There's so much we have not even spoken about that are really exciting. So
yeah. How about we quickly talk about the movie that we have already seen that are going to be released?
So for the first couple of weeks into the year, I guess until like, early February, there's a ton of like these spillover movies, but they're not entirely spillover. They're just the ones that played at festivals and now are getting in early January finally a release. And there's a ton of them that we do recommend, like Gus Van Sant's. By the way, for most of those, we do have reviews up on the channel already. Like basically all of them we've already reviewed. Yeah. What are we pointing to the description box to make sure?
No, I'm pointing towards the channel because it should be right there.
Yeah, down there. Anyways, Dead Man's Wire. You said it's the hottest 7 out of 10 movie you've ever seen or something like that. That is out in limited release on the January 9th and then in wide release on the 16th. That's the latest film from Gus Van Sant. There's also the Palestinian movie All That's Left of You, Jordan's submissions to the Oscars. That's also out on the 9th. Obex, a highlight for me, coming out of Sundance, is out on the 9th. And then The Voice of Hind Rajab, a movie we've said is the most important film of 2025, is also out. A Private Life, Jodie Foster speaking French. The movie's decent, but that one's out on the 16th. The Thai submission to the Oscars that then got taken back again for some reason. A Useful Ghost is also out on the 16th. An animated film that you talked and just said it was visually stunning. Arco is out on the 23rd. H is for Hawk is out on the 23rd as well. Little movie about a sort of lonely poet guy that I found quite charming. A Poet is out on the 30th. And then a movie that was in your top 10, I believe, The Love That Remains, is out on January 30th. On the 8th, the Horizonte Extra, or I guess now Spotlight winner in Venice, Gala Malaga, is out on February 6th, and I'll have a interview with the director that will come out alongside it. Kokuo, the Japanese submission to the Oscars, that's the highest grossing live-action Japanese film of all time locally there, is out on the 6th. Then a movie that is coming out of Nigeria that you have on your yet-to-watch list for this year is out on the 6th as well. It's called My Father's Shadow. A movie that was in my top 25, Pillion, is out on February 6th. Then we also got My President's Cake, a film set in Iraq, which sees two children trying to gather the ingredients to bake a cake for their president. I also got to chat to the director in a really long interview that will release early February as well. A really odd movie that premiered at Sundance about like conscious chairs or something like that. Like I found the movie to be really unbearable, but like Connor, for example, really loved it. By Design is out on the 13th. And then the last one here, Animal Farm from Andy Serkis, which I gotta say is bro, it's pretty horrible, but it's kind of fun how bad it is to look at. That's out on May 1st. So there's a big jump there, but again, we try to spotlight as many of these. We'll make sure to mention them again in the weeks that they release into cinemas. Also, this is just US release dates. So locally for us and for you, it might be very different. Just be on the lookout. Like a bunch of these films are very much worth having on your radar. Kevin, there's some films that don't get released, that never come out. And you question, what can you do about that? You kind of like powerless in that way. All we can do at these like going to these festivals is trying to spotlight them, trying to not spoil them, but tell you that you should have them on your watch list. You should be adding them to, like, how programmers or game developers say, like, oh, wishlist the game. It's actually powerful. With Letterboxd's new feature of the video store, there is the potential that like a ton of watch lists for movies that don't have a lot of logs, but a ton of watch lists might actually result in them going after certain movies that they can bring to their video store. So Letterboxd, this is directly addressed to you now. We are pitching you 2 movies that we got to see at the Venice Film Festival that have no distribution in any place at the moment. So, Kevin, can you tell us, the audience, and Letterboxd which 2 movies we would love to have on the video store?
The 2 movies we are championing for the video store. The first one is Remake, the new documentary from Ross McElwee. That was both in our top 15s or even top 10s of 2025. Devastating documentary. We really champion Remake, and then a little movie called Lost Land. Tell me more about that one.
That's about the perilous journey of 2 children, an older sister and her, I believe, 4-year-old, like a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, trying to get to Malaysia, having to go through Myanmar in a really perilous like time in that country. And it basically just follows them as it feels like a diary of them making that trail, hopefully to safety. It's also a gut-wrenching film. It has like all of the elements that you want from a great movie. It's got an amazing score. It's got such great like narrative storytelling, and how it like starts off with certain things that you don't pay that much attention to, and by the end they sort of beautifully weave into like this full story that is it's pretty heartbreaking and pretty gut-wrenching as well, but it never feels manipulative. And yeah, it's a movie that can easily go overlooked. Well, we really were blown away, and it just sort of came out of nowhere for us as well. So Lost Land, Hara Vatan, I think is the original name of the movie, is one that we would definitely champion. All right, so that's our pitch done. We'll see them February, right? Is when they'll be on the video store.
Maybe March. Like
maybe
give
March.
Give them time to
holiday
put
breaks.
down the contracts, the negotiations. Like
yeah. That sounds realistic.
Like Rome wasn't built overnight, you know.
and we didn't build the Letterboxd video store with our recommendations in a month or 2. It might take
exactly. Now, we have done a best of 2025 horror video. It's either gonna be out or is still coming out, and it's still very long edit.
It's like 3
hours long. There was a segment in there that we looked forward to horror movies in 2026, but we are going to recap what we said in that segment. So here are the horror movies. If you are a horror movie guy, I know one person is watching, then put them in your watch list, all right? We got a horror section. Godzilla -0, Zach Gregor's Resident Evil. We got Faces of Death, Sam Raimi Sent Help, Nia da Costa's 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. We got October, Werewolf, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, The Backrooms. So hyped for that one. Markiplier's Iron Lung, Onslaught, They Will Kill You, Clayface, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, Hokum, Archangel, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, Other Mommy, Victorian Psycho, Evil Dead Burn, Let the Evil Go West, Stuffed, The Scurry, which I don't know if you're gonna put the movies on there, but the synopsis of The Scurry sounds bonkers. Hot Death, Obsession, Primate, Scream 7, The Bride, Scary Movie 6, Psycho Killer, no, not that song. Insidious, The Bleeding World, and Return to Silent Hill. I know, pretty good year for horror coming up, if you ask me, you know.
And that's already the stuff that I told you this last night, that it's quite surprising. We got the big blockbusters that are scheduled up for the year, you got animation, and you got so much horror that already isn't just like, set to release in 2026, but they have like release dates as well for a ton of these. Yeah, they also kind of spaced out. I feel like there's a bunch of things that will still pop up. Not that a ton of these, like horror doesn't premiere at festivals that much and then get picked up. They kind of already are getting out without that sort of push. But there's some fun stuff in here. Again, I'm not seeing anything that I feel like is going to be at like my end of the year best list. At least for me personally.
Hey, don't you dare slander Godzilla -0 like that.
Apart from, I
did I interrupt you?
Apart from, I was scrolling up and seeing. Apart from like Werewolf, maybe 28 years later, I'll like even more as the first one, and Godzilla -1, and yeah, there might be some really interesting things on here. And just stuff that is pretty fun. Like you said, like the scurries just look so crazy. It's just let's read the synopsis real quick for that one. Just for that one. Chaos erupts at an eco cafe when a horde of deranged squirrels seek revenge on the staff and visitors, forcing two summoned pest controllers to face the onslaught. And it stars Ella Purnell and Rhys Ifans. And it just, that sounds crazy. And it's just the director who did Phantom of the Open, which I haven't seen, but you speak highly of. So
I really like that one.
It's just a bunch of pairings with horror. I think that's fun, like to have that with comedy, to have that with more thriller aspects of it all. A bit of everything is sort of what you can expect from horror, as always,
As we said in that video, this still coming out, horror is evolving, and they're always rebranding, finding new ways, because like the core, tropes, and storylines in horror are always very much the same, but they're sort of putting in a new jacket. There are new voices that are always popping up in this genre, and that's why it makes horror so exciting to watch. As for the movie that I'm looking forward to the most, Godzilla -0, I'm looking forward to so much. I'm even looking forward to Markiplier's Iron Lung, because he's another YouTuber going to the space of cinema. Very curious to see what he will do after Chris Tuckman and so many others. But I'm actually most excited for Resident Evil.
Oh, okay.
Zach Cregger's October, I'm absolutely curious for, but I'm actually most hyped for Resident Evil, because there's been a lot of talk about video game adaptations over the years, but how Zach Cregger has talked about his Resident Evil being a very simple movie from point A to point B, like very small movie, like it won't go as crazy as the Paul W.S. Anderson movies. It will be a very small scale story. Also the cast, the fact that he stuck with his boy Austin Abrams, who is the only like original member, cast member of Weapons, and you also got Paul Walter Hauser here, which I really like. Zach Sherry, absolutely love that guy as well. The Resident Evil series always been at its best when it's small. When it's a small story or like a compact story, and they don't go always full balls to the walls out. So that's why I'm really excited for Resident Evil. Again, I do really want to say Backrooms, I'm really excited for, because the atmosphere of the Backrooms is so infamous by now. And the fact that it is directed by a 19-year-old or something, like the youngest A24 director of all time. Werewolf, I'm interested to see, but I'm not as hyped after Nosferatu, which I thought was still good, but not as good as, the Northman and his previous movies. And yeah, I think the best movie on this list is going to be Scary Movie 6, let's be honest.
Well, with Scream 7, there's the controversy of, Melissa Barrera exiting or being fired after, and then also Jenna Ortega exiting, and now you basically have a sort of almost like Avengers situations of bringing everyone back in a scramble that I feel like the franchise, I don't know how they'll address that, because it's so self-referential, and like, but it's become like so far up the requel thing of naming that, so I don't know how they'll do that because it works well with a younger generation mixed in with the older one. now that basically all of the older generation is like taking over again. I'm curious, but yeah, because I like the Scream franchise quite a bit. And
you're skeptical.
I'm pretty skeptical. And then Lee Cronin's the Mummy is also interesting. I'm not interested in that movie, to be honest. But he directed the last Evil Dead Rise in 2023, which was pretty dark. And we're getting a new Evil Dead movie called Evil Dead Burn. And I just looked onto the like page the director has on Letterboxd, Sebastian Vanicek or something like that. And I haven't seen any of his movies, but he just looks like he will fuck
I've seen
you
Vermin.
up.
I've seen Vermin. Vermin goes hard.
It's on my watch list now. Just added it. I've heard about that film before. I'm looking forward to Evil Dead Burn because like Evil Dead can do some like it feels like it's going into the direction of more of the 2013 or 14 movie where like it got rougher, on the protagonists, and Evil Dead Rise was that. Evil Dead Burn might be a step further into that direction, and you need that sort of fucked up horror that can be very fun. So I'm actually quite looking forward to Evil Dead Burn.
I do want to name one more movie, and that is The Bride, Maggie Gyllenhaal, The Bride. Some people might say like, oh, why didn't you mention her in the intro? Again, my reasoning for not being as exciting towards The Bride. So The Bride was originally supposed to come out in 2025, and then it got pushed to 2026. I don't know for which reason exactly. Was it to push one battle after another for the Oscars, and so hence delaying The Bride? I heard that the test reactions to The Bride weren't that great either, and after seeing the trailer, you definitely feel a sort of Poor Things and Joker-esque combination of the two, and that doesn't help because it's got the same composer as Joker, and it sort of sounds the same as well. You got the cinematographer from Joker, and it looks very much like such a bonkers, hey, two crazy people together type story. So I'm not as excited for The Bride as I was, well, let's say a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a bit skeptical of that movie as well, but if it's a surprise, then hey, let it come to me, right? But for the rest, I don't know.
I'm still quite looking forward to it. Although the trailer had me a bit like iffy as well. But you said that I think like 1 or 2 weeks ago that you're not judging anything off the trailer anymore, which is especially if you get like the tone of something already, then it's like I guess you end up doing that regardless. It's I can see the Frankenstein book from here that I didn't get to read before Venice. I will try and read it before then because I feel like it's like it's a foundation of so much like literary fiction. It's like literally the starting isn't it like the beginning of like science fiction and all that, or like
could be.
I don't know. But I've seen someone say that.
I'm just imagining in my mind, The Bride comes along, and then you haven't read the book, and there's another Frankenstein adaptation around the corner, and you're like, no.
I did that with Dune.
I'll read the book by then.
I've been doing that with Dune, and I haven't read more than like 200 pages of Dune yet. Yeah. It's one of my New Year's resolutions to read a bunch, and I have me
too.
Set up my little reading nook that has like a little light so I can, instead of scrolling endlessly in evening times, I can sit on my sofa on my couch and just read for a bit. And it's been pretty like I've already read a bunch this year, and it's I can recommend it. After you've have your social media dosage of watching this podcast and using Letterboxd. They should be excluded. Letterboxd you can use indefinitely. Like don't worry about that. But maybe less time on TikTok or stuff like that. More time on this YouTube channel specifically. That's the horror section done. There's also a couple of animated films. We also talked about that in one of our first videos. That we, as the return of the podcast, we took a closer look at sort of underwhelming releases of 2025 in the grand scheme of things. Looking at the list here, which Kevin is going to give us in a second, but I guess we can do that after you've read it out. But like, does it look more promising for this year?
All right, let me quickly go through them. We got the live action / animated Coyote versus Acme. We got Brad Bird's Ray Gun. We got Wildwood. Now look. I'll say this. Wildwood was in my list of 2024 most anticipated. Then it didn't came around, but people said, oh, 2025. So I put it in my 2025 most anticipated. And now we're here in 2026 and we put it in the 2026 most anticipated. So, take that as you will. But I do believe it's actually coming out because it got a poster, for God's sakes, finally. So there we go. The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, which I believe was moved to a streaming only movie. Then we got All You Need Is Kill, Goat. We got Charlie, the Wonder Dog, Hoppers, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Toy Story 5, Minions 3, Forgotten Island, The Cat in the Hat, Hexed, and the Angry Birds movie 3. Now I should add, again, those are the movies we know of. There are going to be a lot of other animated movies, especially smaller ones, European ones, Asian ones that we don't yet know of. I mean, The Legend of Hay, 100 Meters, again, were like very much late additions, late discoveries for us. So I'm actually looking a bit more forward to those movies than the one that we named here.
Yeah.
But yeah, still, the one that I looked forward to the most is Raygun, because that is apparently a passion project for Brad Bird. He passed on to directing The Incredibles 3 for his passion project. So again, that's like a bold choice for him. Even as a successful director as him, that's a bold choice to take. And he did it. Wildwood, also like Animation Studios. What more do I need to say about that one? And Coyote versus Acme, I mean, I do love the Looney Tunes characters and movies. It's a bit of a shame that the kids aren't as in touch with Looney Tunes as they once were in the past, but I'm still looking forward to that one. And the fact that, it finally is getting a release after being, originally sent off for a tax write-off. Very happy about the fact that it still gets released. Ewan, any animated movies you're excited for?
Of course, The Cat in the Hat. Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat, and Angry Birds 3 as well as Minions 3. I'm looking at this and I'm like, where's my, I'm waiting for my lesbian space princesses. I'm waiting for my little Amelie and the characters of Rain or something like that. But All You Need Is Kill is also one that already released at festivals, but it hasn't had, I think, a normal run yet. That's why we are including it here. Like you said, for example, 100 Meters, which we're going to review later in today's episode, that got announced in 2024 at Annecy, and then at Annecy, and then quickly got made. And I feel like if you look at last year's pitches, you'll probably see a bunch of movies that we don't have on our radar yet that will maybe come out this year, or I guess maybe in 2027. If I'm looking at this, like, yeah, maybe I'm interested in Raygun. The thing is, I feel like Brad Bird is like doing a variation of some sort of similar like world every time with like slightly futuristic thing. Like he does it in, like he did it in his live action thing of Tomorrowland, like The Incredibles. Like it all kind of feels samey to me. So I don't know how interested I am. Hopefully it's great. Hopefully it will blow me away and I'll eat my words. But I'm not that excited for that. And then what is left? Like, do I care about like Stephen Curry as a goat throwing hoops? Not really. It's like, I don't know. Hoppers looks interesting. I'm just hoping that, we get 2 Illumination movies, and obviously we got the god-awful Minion movies, and the Super Mario movie was like the best Illumination film of all time, which means a 6 out of 10. But I hope they keep the streak alive, and the Mario Galaxy movie is also a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 7. I
mean, the Super Mario Galaxy games, there's more potential there because they effectively go out into space and to other planets. So I do feel like there's more potential with the Galaxy movie than a Super Mario Bros. movie.
I mean, in the first one, what was the most appealing was like going into a different world with Donkey Kong and the Mario Kart racing stuff.
Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road. I don't know. I feel like they've already hit like a ton of the references. Obviously, there's way more, and there's Rosalina. I'm looking at this. I'm not the most excited about like animation next year. Like, there's no sort of Guillermo del Toro like already pitched movie that is more like adult skewing.
They still could be coming. We just
but we already knew about like movies like that beforehand. There's no like auteur that's behind the movie that has already been pitched, but yeah. Also, Toy Story 5, like, stop. It's good. I'm done. The toys can sit still now.
And I know that depends because it depends on the person you're talking to. Because some people say Toy Story 4 is the best Toy Story. Then you got a few people that say Toy Story 3 is the perfect trilogy.
They're not bad. Yeah. And I mean, also what's interesting is like the director of Toy Story 5 has another movie out that's this year. Andrew Stanton has In the Blink of an Eye, which also releases.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that maybe later on because it's like it is in higher up in my most anticipated than Toy Story 5.
Yeah, and I believe In the Blink of an Eye is releasing on Hulu in February already. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So it might be okay. Well, never mind then. It might be one of those ones that they have less confidence in, or you can't tell because they just drop stuff like Netflix on streaming.
It is debuting in Sundance as well. So.
Right. That's also surprising. I haven't paid that much attention to. Is the Sundance? I don't think the Sundance program is that out. Because I haven't.
I believe partially so. Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't really include that. We did that in years previous where we were looking at like, oh, these are all the films at Sundance. The thing is, with a lot of them, yeah, it might be a bunch of films that we have on here. We'll play there, but they are as distant to us as they are likely to you. Because we didn't. We aren't accredited for that festival. Kevin, do you want to have a look at like our personal highlights, some films that we haven't talked about yet?
Sure, man.
Yeah,
sure, we can do that.
All right.
Do you want to start off, or should I?
We wanted to do like a top 26 of 2026, and honestly, I'm struggling to put that together.
Well, I am gonna do that. You know what? I sort of do have them. I sort of do have them ranked like vaguely, so I'll do.
I can give you a few. I can give you a few honorable mentions, and I'll start with my 26. Like there's a movie called Famous that I'm looking forward to. In the Blink of an Eye, Pressure, Sense and Sensibility, The Peasant, Scandalous, Amos Saddam, See You When I See You, Highlander if that comes out, Bad Lieutenant, Tokyo, Her Private Hell, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, All of a Sudden, the drama, Coward, Greta Gerwig's Narnia I'm looking forward to, and I Love Boosters. And then, my spot number 26, although this is not like a serious ranking, I do have Deep Cuts from Sean Durkin, the director who made The Iron Claw, The Nest, Dead Ringers, and this is going to be a movie starring Kelly Spaney and Drew Starkey. A love story about two music-obsessed 20-somethings navigating the messy realities of ambition, belonging, and adulthood over the course of an era-defining decade. That sounds like up my speed. So it's what I picked. The latest film from the I Saw the TV Glow and We're All Going to the World's Fair director Jane Schönbrunn, called Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, with Hannah Imdinger, who's big for her role in Hacks, also starring Gillian Anderson, like about a queer filmmaker who's like set to direct a slasher movie and then sort of clashes as the final girl and the director sort of get into hijinks. It describes it as a frenzy of psychosexual mania. That sounds fun. Then we got Wuthering Heights, which you were looking at me like, huh? You excited for that movie? And I was like, hey. Emerald Fennell, she makes movies that move the masses, Saltburn.
Yeah.
Was a cultural phenomenon.
Again, every time I hear the Emerald Fennell, there's like a famous clip. I don't know who it is. I think either Dreyfus or Amy Poehler, but like one of them made a joke about what the structure is like of an Emerald Fennell movie, and I really recommend that clip. Yeah.
I'm not going to say this is going to be my, like, I feel like as soon as a project has Jacob Elordi attached to it, I'm very interested because I feel like the guy's trying,
especially after Frankenstein.
Exactly. Yeah, he's trying so much, and I was like, Frankenstein was his best performance so far. Frankenstein was one of like the year's best performances. What he did there as the creature, and yeah, I'm just very curious. I don't think like him matching up with Margot Robbie. I don't think they fit at all. But I haven't read the book. That's one of the ones that I'm reading.
Of course.
But yeah, then I also got Henry Dunham's Enemies with Austin Butler, Jeremy Allen White, Anna Savai. Yeah, this is one that might be on your list as well because you're a big fan of the Sandos.
Damn it! Why are you already saying it?
I said maybe it's on your list. I haven't said it yet.
It is.
But yeah, he's the director of The Standoff at Sparrow Creek, which is a movie that I haven't seen yet, but you keep recommending it to me, so that goes onto my watch list before this movie comes out. Enemies at my spot number 23. I got Bucking Fastard, which is the latest film from Werner Herzog, starring the Mara brothers, Kate and Rooney, and this one is about like two inseparable twin sisters, Joan and Jean, who live on the fringes of society. So it's like loosely inspired by something that like British identical twins that had a brief tabloid notoriety in the early 1980s. And it's so peculiar, so specific. So what the fuck? It just kind of makes sense that Werner Herzog is doing that. And I think those two sisters are two great actresses. So that sounds like fun.
I don't know if that movie is gonna come out this year, but I also know that the Fanning sisters are making a movie together as sisters.
Yeah.
So it'd be very funny if those two movies released this year.
The Year of the Twins. Yeah. It would be
the Year of the Twins. Yeah.
We had the year of so many actors playing themselves like twice with De Niro, with Michael B. Jordan, and there were a couple more. Yeah, it would be fun if like this year it's just like no, they're all playing twins. I got my spot number 21, which is Godzilla Minus Zero, which is a sequel, so I don't think there's much to be said there other than like fuck yeah, that's going to slap.
I hope you watch it in a better format this time.
Not with a low bitrate and a huge like watermark that comes straight from the Toho company, or like what's the distribution there?
And like wasn't it in like 720p or something? Like
at most. At most. But yeah, what are your like spots 26 through 21?
You know, my first movie is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. That is probably the most critically acclaimed movie that hasn't gotten a wide release yet. I'm very excited for it. Also, Matt Johnson has 2 movies in 2026 apparently. Also with Tony. So after Blackberry, I'm in with whatever this guy does. Then we got Possible Love. Lee Shang-dong is a filmmaker. I'm gonna see every movie of his in 2026. There's like an Australian distributor of like Blu-rays and etc. And they did a Black Friday deal, and they had a trilogy of him. And I was like, I gotta get that because it's like poetry. It's Oasis and Peppermint Candy, and again, all of his movies almost have like a 4.0 or higher on Letterboxd. So again, I'm gonna watch all 5 of his movies, and hopefully I'm gonna do that before Possible Love. Yeah, he stopped his camera.
Well, literally, my cat just walked into my camera. Go away.
Look, we got Whalefall. I'm not gonna, go too deep into synopsises, but I do want to say this synopsis, which is a scuba diver in search of his deceased father's remains, gets swallowed by an 80-foot, 60-ton sperm whale and has only 1 hour to escape before his oxygen runs out. After giving up on life, the young man is surprised to find a reason to live in the most dangerous and unlikely of places. Again, also starring Austin Abrams. Last night, as we were gathering this list together and going over it together, we said, oh my god, there are a lot of actors who have like a huge year ahead of them. Austin Abrams is also one of them with Resident Evil and Whalefall. Also, Josh Brolin is in this one as his dad, I'm presuming, so very, very much looking forward to it. Also, Brian Duffield, underrated director with No One Will Save You and Spontaneous, so very much looking forward to what he has to offer. Then I got The Dark Stars, Ridley Scott, a movie. It's about a pandemic, but it's also, science fiction adventure. So don't know how much it will lean into which genre exactly, but with the cast as again Jacob Elordi, Margaret Qualley, Josh Brolin, Guy Pearce, and Benedict Wong, count me in. We got All of a Sudden, the new Hamaguchi movie, revolves around the bond between 2 women, a Japanese theater director and a French nurse. Good synopsis. Can I just say, I love it when a synopsis of an upcoming movie is only like 1 sentence and not like an entire paragraph. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. We got Saturn Return, Greg Quidar, newest movie, the director of Sing Sing. So again, Sing Sing was in my top 10 of that year. You also got Rachel Brosnahan, Will Poulter, Charles Melton, Count Me In. We got Burning Rainbow Farm, the new movie by Justin Kurzel, who has sort of returned to, his roots filmmaking with The Order. You could call Assassin's Creed a sidestep, but with Nitram, with The Order, he's really making these crime movies where he excels at. So again, here, you probably got another crime movie. Sebastian Stan, Leah Woodall, Count Me In. We got Remain. Yes, I like Trap. I love Trap. I'm in the Trap gang, if you want to call it that. And I'm looking forward to M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie, Remain, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Phoebe Dynevor. Again, looking forward to that one. It's like the 2026 best of. I'm just gonna say good movie, but here I'm gonna say like looking forward to it. Dune Part 3. That's it. Digger, Tom Cruise, Alejandro González Iñárritu. That's it. The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan. That's it.
I mean, a lot of them speak for themselves, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those were my three.
Wait,
The Dead. Oh yeah, you wanna?
Yeah, you kind of. I'm still at my spot number 20. Let me catch up until top 10 because I have a couple of them that I maybe do need a bit more introduction. I do have. Here Comes the Flood. Which is with Robert Pattinson, Daisy Edgar Jones, Denzel Washington. From Fernando Meirelles, the director of City of God, The Two Popes. More recently, also did some episodes of The Sympathizer, an unconventional heist movie. Very much looking forward to that. Some good as crime thrillers is what we need.
Exactly.
Then I also have Burning Rainbow Farm from Justin Kurzel as well on my list. I also, wait, sorry. No, do I actually have that? No, I was on your list by accident. Holy fuck.
Are you going off my list?
I clicked on the wrong thing. I was like, wait, that's on my list to have it that high. No, my next up would be Wicker, which is about an outcast in a fishing village who commissions a husband for herself made out of wicker. And it stars Olivia Colman, Alexander Skarsgård, Peter Dinklage, Elizabeth Debicki. That premise, I was like, I can picture Olivia Colman in that role already.
Yeah.
It's like perfect. I'm very much looking forward to that. Then I also have The Social Reckoning, Aaron Sorkin, follow up to The Social Network, Mikey Madison, and just going back to yours. I don't like this. Mikey Madison and like Jeremy Allen White, Jeremy Strong. In here gonna be interesting to see if this ends up working. I got 1949 by Pavel Bavilovsky, director of Cold War and Ida, director who I have not seen a single film of, but I feel like I've already experienced them. This one is with Sandra Hüller, so it's going to be partly in German, or I guess mainly in German, and yeah, about the writer Thomas Mann and his daughter Erica. I'm just, these sort of, that time period is super interesting, or just like these sort of war periods or post-war periods. I'm quite interested in. Then there's the movie that Mikey Madison was holding out on, rejecting everyone, but Alejandro Landers landed her in Reptilia alongside Kirsten Dunst, about a dental hygienist who is seduced by a mysterious mermaid into a dark and wet underworld of Florida's exotic animal. What the fuck? I'm in. So that's that movie. Then briefly a couple more. Alpha Gang by the Zellner brothers with Cate Blanchett, Chris Pine, Dave Bautista, Lea Seydoux, Lily Rose Depp, Calvin Harrison Jr. and Adria Arjano. I was looking at that cast and I was like, how can I not have that very high up? I don't even care what the movie's about, but it's like about aliens or something like that. And they learn to have emotions, which is horrible. Then the Dog Stars that you previously mentioned already. I think Jacob Elordi is having a crazy big year with Wuthering Heights, with the Dog Stars, and with Outer Dark as well. The Laszlo Nemes movie. Then we also got Jeremy Saulnier's October, Fugitive Thriller set during Halloween. Then Martin McDonagh's next movie. Honestly, this could have been at in my top 5, because Martin McDonagh has delivered. Like, Banshees of Inisherin was so good. Three Billboards, In Bruges, Seven Psychopaths, such bangers after bangers. He hasn't like missed with any of his movies yet, and this one is again with Sam Rockwell, John Malkovich, Steve Buscemi, Parker Posey, Tom Waits. Such a fun cast. Hopefully that will play at one of the festivals that we'll go to together. And then my last one here before you go again is Tony Gilroy's Behemoth with David Harbour, Ava Victor, Olivia Wilde, Matthew Lillard, Pedro Pascal, a musician from a family of musicians, returns to Los Angeles. Sounds pretty fun. And Michael Clayton is amazing. If you haven't seen Michael Clayton yet,
banger
movie. All right, back to you.
Back to me. I got The Death of Robin Hood, Michael Sarnowski's latest movie. Again, I love Pig. I really like A Quiet Place Day One and where he took that franchise, the direction he took in that franchise. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to The Death of Robin Hood, starring Hugh Jackman, Jodie Comer, Bill Skarsgård, Noah Jupe. Looking forward to that one. Blood on Snow. Kerry Joji Fukunaga has had a rocky couple of years. But hey, No Time to Die was great. Beast of No Nation is still one of the original Netflix movie that I remember to this day, 11 years later. I even really like Maniac, so he's definitely a talented director. The premise is quite interesting as well. It's an adaptation. A hitman falls for his client's wife, who happens to be the target of the assassin's latest assignment. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Benedict Cumberbatch, Ben Mendelsohn, and Eva Green. My God. It's actually very close because it comes out the end of January, but good luck, have fun, don't die. Gore Verbinski's latest movie with Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell is one of my favorite actors of all time. Moon is my favorite movie of all time. In my heart of heart, Sam Rockwell won the Oscar for his performance in Moon, but he's absolutely fantastic in Three Billboards as well, for which he won that. Also, Haley Lou Richardson also gonna have a huge year with Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and another movie I'm gonna call out later. The Chaperones. Look, I was really interested in this movie, the director of Good One, and then you got the reunion of Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson, who were absolutely fantastic in The Long Walk. And then you also got this premise: three slacker friends are hired to transport a troubled teen across the country, which sort of gives me The Lost Detail vibes. And look who pops up in this movie as well: the worst actor in SAG history, Paul Dano. So yeah, also Daniel Detweiler, Alfred Molina, Dolly DeLeon. Hey, she pops up there. Absolutely looking forward to this movie. The Chaperones definitely so high up there. And then last but not least, before we go to our top 10s, Godzilla Minus Zero. Do I need to say more?
No.
No.
Big fucking hulking monster. Fuck yeah. It's not going to sympathize with humanity and it's actually going to protect them somehow. No. It's destruction. It's destruction. It's miserable.
I guess we're both to our top 10s now, so we'll do 5, 5, 5, 5.
Yeah, do you want? Should I go first with my 5?
You can go first.
Alright. There's a bit of overlap, I think, for the rest of them. I was quite surprised for some of the movies that you left off. For me, it's Joel Cohen. With Ethan being more on the side of
I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know what side he's on. He's trying to be on the side of the lesbians. They're like, kindly go back to your side. And Joel Cohen has just done The Tragedy of Macbeth, which I really enjoyed, and what's the Ballad of Buster Scruggs they still did together. It's too great of a filmography to pass up. Obviously, they bring out the best out of each other, so I would love for them to maybe work on a project again together, but they got a movie called Jack of Spades, and I was like, how high is this up, this solo project by Joel Cohen? And then I saw the cast, which includes Frances McDormand and Josh O'Connor. After having a huge year last year, he's right back onto that with Disclosure Day, which, well, spoilers, it's on my this 10 to 6 is also Disclosure Day is on in there. So I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. A gothic mystery set in 1880 Scotland. Fuck yeah. It's going to be atmospheric as fuck. Flame Union, I accidentally had this at spot number 9, and then I sort of never moved it because I moved everything else in the list, and then I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine to be that high. It's the director
Might be.
Yugo Sakamoto who did the Baby Assassins trilogy that Kevin discovered, and then was very much like recommending it to me, and then we both really enjoyed it, and we reviewed all of them. He's also still working on that. He's constantly working on stuff, and has just a great
Also
sense
the
of
writer of Ghost Killer. He also
writer of
penned
Ghost Killer, which we shouted out this year. He didn't have one, I guess, last year in 2025. There was
he did Nemrubaka Hypnik Jerks. But I'm
the one that we haven't seen yet. Yeah. And he has one with Flame Union that is about like assassins once again, comedy action crime film. So very much looking forward to that. You just mentioned it. India Donaldson's Chaperone, I really enjoyed, good one as well. And like you said, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson. I believe David Johnson is one of the best actors, up and coming actors, that is incredibly underrated still in sort of the mainstream roles that he's gotten. But I love him in this lane because he hits every note fucking dead on perfect. So yeah, very much looking forward to that movie. John Carney's Power Ballad. I'm not like, the hugest fan of Sing Street, because I know there's some diehard fans for that. I still really enjoy that. But I think Flora and Son, like, I keep going back to that. Maybe you can meet me in the middle. Like, some of these songs just like stuck with me. They're really great. It's such an underrated little film from 2023 as well. And I hope that Power Ballad with Paul Rudd, Nick Jonas, Jack Rayner, Havana Rose Liu, hopefully that one delivers. It might be a bit high, but I believe that this one will be very enjoyable. And then lastly, at my spot number 6, I have Disclosure Day. When I started studying film production in Australia alongside Lachlan, which maybe some of you guys don't know the lore of how this all came to be, of this whole podcasting thing and meeting Lachlan and everything. I said in a round where we all had to name our favorite filmmaker, I said Steven Spielberg, because I was very much on the high of like saying that Schindler's List is my favorite movie of all time. It's just since kind of moved away from that, but I think it's still like a brilliant, perfect movie. And although I'm not like incredibly hyped for this film, it's Steven fucking Spielberg. So I know it's not on your list, but I'm very much looking forward to him returning to like sort of this blockbuster filmmaking as well. But all right.
By the way, just because it's not on my list, I am not discounting Steven Spielberg. I would never dare to discount
and I was like,
Spielberg.
how is that not on my list? I hate you. Don't mention that over me. There's so much good stuff.
So now my number 10 to 5, I got Enemies, Henry Dunham, again, Austin Butler, Jeremy Allen White, Anna Sawai, and again, The Standoff at Sparrow Creek is a movie I've clamored about for years. I want you to see that movie because again, it's such a small scale, tight and perfect movie to me. Then we got Z Kogonada. After a big, bold, beautiful journey. A little bit of a setback, but he's yet here again with Z. Also bringing back his beloved co-star Haley Lou Richardson. Very much looking forward to this. Then I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to name 2 movies here. Sheep in the Box and Look Back, both movies from Hirokazu Koreeda. I am planning on watching most of his filmography, very much like Lee Chang-dong. I actually own almost, I think, every movie of him as well. So
what's your address?
That's just mixed.
What's your address again?
No. But I think I am... While you and Connor have talked a lot about Look Back and how you guys love that movie, I'm more looking forward to Sheep in the Box, which again has a 1-sentence synopsis. Thank you, God. In the near future, a couple take a state-of-the-art humanoid into their home as their son. Sort of gives me After Yang vibes, but hey, I'm here for it. And obviously, Look Back, also very much looking forward to that one. And then, last but not least, to round my number 6, it is Paper Tiger. James Gray is one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. The guy is so consistent, it's incredible. Ad Astra is my favorite, but The Lost City of Z, that came out in 2016. I was 16 years old then, and the fact that a 16-year-old like me, for that movie that is like very much like, sort of dragging you along and everything, I was so riveted by that movie. Two Lovers, We Own the Night, Armageddon Time, also very solid movie. So James Gray, one of my favorite directors. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's my numbers 10 to 6.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that is as high up, but I can definitely see that be it.
It's just Ad Astra, and he's so consistent.
Yeah.
I love James Gray, and I also keep going back to the clip of James Gray, talking about give me one sentence of Aquaman. I just love that clip. So yeah.
For my final few, I actually also have two Hirokazu Koreeda films in my top 5. And I guess I have them in your top 5. You don't have them in your top 5. Connor was a bit higher on Look Back. Like, I think he gave it like 5 stars, 5 out of 5. And I really, really liked that film. I'm a bit less interested in his take on this because I've already seen the movie. I know how it like sort of plays out. I feel like there's a lot of ways for him to explore that more because I feel like some of the stuff in the animated movie is very abbreviated. But I don't know how much I'm interested in him like doing such an adaptation where I feel like some of the critiques that people had for Monster, was it because it wasn't him writing it? And here he is the writer, he's adapting it, right? He's the sole credited writer apart from the original writer. Yeah, bodes well for this production. And I'm wondering like how do these release apart from each other? Where do they release? I have a little movie squeezed in between the two Hirokazu Koreeda movie. You might have heard of him, Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah,
The Odyssey. It's also another book that I'm reading. And
actually, that's one book I will join you on.
It's a short. Is it a short one? It might be a really big one. I don't even know.
I don't know, but I'll join you on it. I'm dedicated now.
But yeah, this is gonna be a hype, fun. I haven't had a chance to watch the prologue yet. Like all of the stuff, but also I'm so ready to just go in, sort of not knowing much about like how what it'll exactly do. Crazy cast. Honestly, this needs no further introduction. And then Sheep in the Box, I have my spot number 3. I'm very much looking forward to this. Like we got barely anything. I feel like it's hard to say like which of Look Back or Sheep in the Box comes out first. It would be crazy if we get like 2 of his movies at the same festival, or maybe you do Gun and Venice or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I hope they both come out this year because again, we don't know 100% if all of these don't get pushed into a later date. And then at my spot number 2, I do have Werewolf. I feel like with Nosferatu, I also had that very high up. It might be underwhelming, you never know that with the sort of horror because it can be such a big swing. But I think The Northman is such a great fucking movie. On my rewatch, I moved that up to like a 5 star. I fucking adore that film. I believe it's the best tale of Amleth of Hamlet ever put to film, and I really hope that Werewolf delivers as well. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Lily Rose Depp, both return. Willem Dafoe as well. Set in like 13th century England. He's sticking to the sort of period dramas. And then at my spot number 1, Dune Part 3. I'm going really normie towards the top end of it all because it's like that might be.
That's okay because I'm not.
Yeah, it might be the cinematic event of the year. And I'm very much excited for that to for this franchise that like the Messiah, the promised man of like he's not good. Like if you're not a good person, and I think that's such an interesting thing of such a hugely popular medium. So many people watch it to like know that's going into that direction with what Frank Herbert wrote in his base novel. So I'm very much interested in like his take on it. But yeah, what about you?
Well, my number 5, you already mentioned it, Flame Union. Yugo Sakamoto, again, is a filmmaker I'm going to look forward to. The guy is on a grind. The amount of films he's released in just, the last 5-6 years is quite staggering. And again, with the consistency that he does with the Baby Assassins movie, with the Baby Assassins Everyday's short movie, short limited series, pardon me. And then also writing, Ghost Killer. The guy is on a roll. I absolutely love his style, the movie that he makes. So, and the synopsis of Flame Union also sounds really interesting. It's a bit long to mention now, but absolutely looking forward to Flame Union. Then I do have Power Ballad, which is a bit weird because I'm not exactly the biggest fan of his movies, but again, the consistency of him. Sing Street, Begin Again, Flora and Son, Once, all very music videos. So I just know I'm gonna rinse the soundtrack of Power Ballad as well. But so consistent, and again with that cast, Paul Rudd, Nick Jonas, Jack Rayner, etc. Very much looking forward to that one. Then, one of my other favorite filmmakers of all time is Martin McDonagh. I mean, for God's sakes, you've named them: Banshees, 3 Billboards, In Bruges, 7 Psychopaths. Movies I've all adored and probably given more than a 9 out of 10 on. And now you get Sam Rockwell again. He and Sam Rockwell are the best combination I've ever seen on screen. Then you got Steve Buscemi and John Malkovich in there, and Tom Waits. Come on, man. So much looking forward to The Wild Horse 9. Then we got 2 movies that probably a lot of people haven't heard about, but apparently like everyone and their mothers saw this at a film festival, and I'm so jealous of it. The Furious. I'm emphasizing this very hard. The Furious, from what I've heard, is like the next big step in action cinema. On the same level as The Raid and John Wick Chapter 4. So I am looking so forward to this movie. Ewan, I cannot put it into words how much I'm looking forward to The Furious. Oh, I want it right now. If I could watch any movie of this year right now, I would not want to watch Dune. I would not want to watch The Odyssey. I would pick The Furious. That's how much I'm looking forward to it. I know.
Crazy.
And then last but not least, I got a movie called Hope, from the director of The Wailing, which is a movie that I want to watch so badly. I think I can just pick it right here. Funnily enough. The Wailing, I have it on 4K. Like, this is one of those movies that was so hyped and like so much talked about that I ordered the 4K from America before the tariffs. And again, yes, also has like a movie chaser, The Yellow Sea, which also are very good from what I've heard. But Hope has been like on the rumor mill for like a very long time. Also starring Alicia Vikander and Michael Fassbender. And Hope, I feel like it's gonna be a banger. I feel like that movie is gonna be like the resurrection of this year, if you know what I mean. Which is again, high stakes and hopes that I'm putting on these movies.
Yeah,
but
well,
again,
I mean, this is the one that I guess we could read the synopsis for, because I don't know if anyone's familiar.
A mysterious discovery is made on the outskirts of the remote harbor town. The residents find themselves in a desperate fight for survival against something they have never encountered before.
Honestly, no surprise that the 2 movies at the top of your list are both 2 action films. It's not surprising at all.
And Asian.
If we hadn't seen the Kevin Costner American chapter Horizon, whatever, that's never releasing for some reason. I feel like those would, maybe you would clamor on to hope that those would release, but there's so few westerns like tumbleweed. There's this basically none. So
and again, just you did a couple of honorable mention. I will do them as well. Tom Ford's Cry to Heaven. I adore nocturnal animals, so I'm very much looking forward to. By the way, set in 18th century Venice, count that shit at the Venice Film Festival. The Rivals of Messiah King, which had debut. You mentioned October. I already mentioned Tony as well. Fjord, Christian Mungiu. Newest movie. We didn't even talk about Clara and the Sun, which is a novel that a lot of people like, but it's a Taika Waititi movie. So at the same time, but again, it depends on which Taika Waititi is behind the camera. The guy can be very inconsistent and swing.
Exactly, but you talked about consistency, and I feel like he's been consistently inconsistent for a while.
Danny Boyle's Inc. Also very much looking forward to that. The Shitheads, I'm also very much looking forward to that. Macon Blair's movie starring Dave Franco, Shea Jackson Jr., and Mason Thames, who has had a year and a half. And last but not least, I want to mention The History of Concrete, John Wilson. After attending a workshop on how to write and sell a Hallmark movie, filmmaker John Wilson tries to use the same formula to sell a documentary about concrete. That premise alone sounds very interesting. And again, you can go into our list. I would say, if you go to my list, I would say like the top 80 85, I'm all very much looking forward to. We left out a bunch of movies there, but again, my list is like 211. If you count Ewan's list with some of the slop that he's excited for, you got like 260 movies. So
yeah,
I do think you can watch list enough movies for this year if you go to both of our lists.
Exactly. And dude, I have to hold myself back so much from not reading out more of these.
Yeah.
Mayday, prime time, cliffhanger. You were saying like if I don't mention cliffhanger, you'll like make fun of me. But I honestly am not. Like Jomi Kole Sarah hasn't made like a movie that is super exciting.
Oh, I really like him.
I thought it's kind of alright, but Lily James and trailer looked very hot. But there's so much.
God damn
it. The over like Flower Whale Street, like that Kendrick Lamar
Yeah,
project.
let's stop. No.
Oh, it's so much good stuff.
I'll name some more movies, but in like the calendar year order. How about that? Is that okay? That's fine.
Oh, you want to do it?
Oh, I'll let you do it. That way you can get your satisfaction from naming more movies. All right, I'll leave it to you.
Yes. So if we look at the whole year, we kind of moved through what we are looking forward to the most by genre. But that, like, we don't know when some of these movies release. They might be a festival premiere and then they don't release until like next year. We aren't sure about many of those, but there are a number of films that already have release dates. So instead of like, I'm not giving you the specific date, but just by the month. For 2026 in January, we are getting 28 Years Later, Bone Temple, and Send Help. Those are the big releases. In February, we get Goat, Wuthering Heights, and Scream 7. In March, we are getting The Bride, Hoppers, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Men, Reminders of Him, Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. Then in April, we are getting the Super Mario Galaxy movie, A24's The Drama, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, Normal, Michael, if that doesn't get pushed again. The also much pushed Mother Mary should finally be pushed out of the womb in April. In May, we are getting the sequel to Devil Wears Prada, as well as Mortal Kombat, and to the series of The Mandalorian in The Mandalorian and Grogu. In June, we are getting The Masters of the Universe, Scary Movie 6, Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and in July, the third Minions movie, the live-action remake of Moana, The Odyssey, Evil Dead Burn, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and then in August, One Night Only, Insidious, The Bleeding World, Cliffhanger, Coyote vs. Acme, and The Dog Stars from Ridley Scott. In September, we're getting a movie called How to Rob a Bank, Clayface, Sense and Sensibility, and Resident Evil. In October, we are getting Digger, Verity, The Social Reckoning, Street Fighter, and Remain. In November, it's time for Dr. Seuss's Cat in the Hat, as well as The Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, Disney's Hexed, Fucker-in-Law, and Greta Gerwig's Narnia, exclusively on IMAX screens before it comes out on Netflix. And then finally in December, we are getting the sequel to Violent Night. Then it's Jumanji 4, but probably be titled Jumanji 3, and like the new, but it's technically the fourth one. And the 40th film in the MCU, probably somewhere around there, with Avengers Doomsday, as well as the third movie for Dune, with Dune Messiah. Same goes for Angry Birds, that also has a third one. And then finally, they should be mentioned in the same sentence. And then Robert Eggers' Werewolves to cap out the end of the year. I feel like similar to Nosferatu, again, like a Christmas release date, which is very funny for like how dark these movies are. But that's an overview of for the whole year for you. Dude, the thing is, so many movies. And last year, how many did you watch? You watched less than you wanted to, but you still watched like 200 or something of new releases.
I watched, new releases. I watched 233 or something, and I'll probably go to 250 with some of these spillover movies, and the inevitable always catch up. Like for example, I do want to watch Nemuro Baka, Hypnik Shirks, Yugo Sakamoto's movie. Some of the movies that come out: Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg, etc. I'm also going to do the catch up. So I'll probably again end up on 250 new releases from 2025. Overall, I did 335. So I'm aiming for like one movie a day, so 365 normally. But this year I will aim for 400.
Wow.
And I know you're just aiming for 400 new releases. So yeah. Cool.
Yeah, for me, I watched like around 430, I think by now-ish of last year, and it's a similar goal for this year again. And with how many movies I have on that watch list that aren't just there to be like on the list, I actually put the stuff more like less and most anticipated, but more in my actual watch list with all of the big releases. So I plan to be busy. And what I'm trying to say with this is we are going to stay busy reviewing hundreds, and I don't exaggerate here, hundreds of movies this year. So you better make sure to, yes, go to those lists, watch list them for yourself, but then also come back here, make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed it, I guess, but also subscribe to the channel to not miss when we cover all of these films as they release throughout the year in cinemas, on streaming, but also coming out of those festivals, praising those yet to be released films. It's going to be a very busy year for us. Might be our busiest yet.
We know we were sort of inconsistent in 2025, especially in like the beginning and the middle of the year. Shit happens. But this year we're we branded ourselves on locking in. Very much like we joked, lock in December, and I feel like we did that. We really locked in December, and now we're locking in for the entire rest of the year.
Fuck yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I will say we are also sort of involving Lachlan and Connor again, but they've got very busy lives, and we are just two little freaks.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, with how involved all of this is, with our goals set that high, it is unfair to bring someone in and like string them along for that, especially when they are not able to like put as much time, not even energy, but as much time in as we are doing. Like all of these shows to prepare for it is like hours on end that are not recorded, that aren't like present in the runtime of this already long podcast. So not to say like, oh, we work so hard, which I guess we do, but it's harder to include someone with all of this in a bigger group. It just but we hopefully have them on for more of these reviews. Like some of the best takes come from you being really into like Asian action cinema or the westerns or like all of those things that add to it, that we can have someone like Connor who is maybe even more interested in the anime side of things to bring that perspective in. And then I don't know what Lachlan brings in the sense
Lachlan
of like,
will do Wuthering Heights with you. That we've already established.
Exactly.
That.
That's what he brings in is that he goes to see it with his girlfriend, and then we also have the very interesting takes that she usually brings on movies that I think he wouldn't otherwise take out. It's very funny.
We are doing Doomsday, and then you can give Angry Birds 3 to him.
So what are you saying? We're just shipping off the movies that we don't want to cover to him, is what I'm hearing.
Hey, no. Not that we don't want to cover, that I don't want to cover. Okay. You're watching them regardless.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But he died.
And now I'm at the pearly gates.
For the rest of the year, you can. This is a very long ad run for us hopefully you've subscribed by now. You probably clicked out of the video by now.
We are like we're aiming for how many subs really?
I mean, I guess 1,000 hopefully soon-ish.
Yeah.
You by the end of the year. I'm like, not double that. Give it to the next person for the end of the year. But we'll see.
So I guess this is also like, hey, if you think somebody would like the channel, please show it to them, share it with them, so they can subscribe to us.
Yeah.
We're hoping to gain a bit more of an audience. So if we gain a bit more of an audience, we also have a back and forth with the viewers themselves, because now it's mostly us two. So hey, please share, like, subscribe. Thank you.
Exactly. But Kevin, I'm wondering, what were you up to like over the last couple of days of the year? Did you watch anything or?
I played some golf, but like some approach golf, like beach and wedge golf at the coast. I watched some movies as well, but not as much as I wanted because the TV wasn't really working.
Right.
So like I was stuck with what it was on the TV. I watched Order of the Phoenix, which is like probably like top 3 Harry Potter. Then the TV worked again. I rewatched Cover Up. I did watch Zoe, A Wife from the Future, which I did like a lot. I watched Ricky Gervais' Mortality, which was not good. And the thing is, I really like Ricky Gervais. Now, I actually really like Ricky Gervais.
Yeah. But like 10 years ago.
He went down this path of, oh, people liked my Golden Globe speech. I need to go way deeper into this sort of, path, this hole, and it's not really working anymore.
Yeah.
And he should really, find something else that he could do. I finished my year with One Battle After Another. With, funnily enough, the first scene that we watched, in 2026 was the Christmas adventurers gathering in the basement.
Yeah. So, that's the way to start off the year.
Exactly. Like we literally like stopped before, and then we like Happy New Year, tweet you, yay, and then we like put on the movie back, and then it's that scene.
That's funny.
And I did start off the new year with Hirukada Kureda movie called Afterlife, which I didn't like as much as I wanted to, but still really good. Reminded me a lot of Defending Your Life, Eternity, all those movies that talk about heaven or like involve heaven. So yeah, that was my new year. How about yours, Ewan? What did yours have in store?
I mean, yeah, we recorded before Christmas Day, like our last episode also, I believe came out around then. I don't remember. It's all a blur. It was a very busy Christmas for me. Winter Christmas. I don't know what I've had a lot of weaknesses. But yeah, some family gatherings. I also was working a bunch over Christmas. Like all of the second Christmas Day, I was at the cinema, but I did manage to sneak in a whole bunch of movies because I discovered
what a surprise
that I do have a Criterion Channel subscription still. I mean, I knew I always had it, but I'm like, oh, there's so much backlog of stuff that I want to cram in before end of the year best list. So I was like, that's done. With next cutoff when we are talking about these again is going to be in at the latest, like
end of
this
February,
month, probably next month, right? Well, yeah, when we talk about it in February. There are some films that I still want to see, but like, there's no rush to watch them by the end of this year. So I was like, let's watch the movies that I just kind of want to watch. And I realized how much of a fucking old school black and white 40s, 50s cinephile I am. And I watched so many Howard Hawks movies. Bro, let me get them up. I watched Only Angels Have Wings, which is great. A movie with Cary Grant. I watched the 1932 Scarface as well. I watched Gentlemen Prefer Blondes from 53 with Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe, which I quite enjoyed. I watched The Big Sleep from 46 with Humphrey Bogart. Then I also watched his two westerns, Rio Bravo and Red River. Rio Bravo, one of the best westerns ever made. That's such a, like, it also is so much about these sort of trademark western tropes through someone like John Wayne. I unfortunately watched Red River after Rio Bravo, and there's about like a 10-year difference between those two. Although in Red River, it's both star John Wayne. Like in Red River, he's way harder, but it's about like him gaining the softness very much towards the like very end of that film. But in Rio Bravo, he's like way more like open. He still has the toughness, the macho-ness to himself, but there's a bit more of like the community that like he is more taking on a more positive role. So I quite enjoyed both of those films for different reasons. So yeah, that was my Howard Hawks. What a director! I might have a god run of like movies.
Did you say Hawks Damn?
I did not say that, and I would not say that, but you can be quoted saying that. That's fine by me. On Christmas Eve, I made a double feature of because I didn't have anything family wise going on. Of two Scorsese movies. I watched Cape Fear, which is fucking crazy, and then I watched The King of Comedy because I wanted to have a De Niro double feature. I hadn't seen The King of Comedy before. Instant 5-star classic, fucking perfect movie.
Damn,
it's so good. It's so brilliant. And I was like, when people were saying this is like Joker is a ripoff, holy fuck, is Joker a ripoff? My fucking god, man. There's nothing original in that movie other than like I guess the characters it's based on, which aren't. But my god, like this is the interesting part. Like King of Comedy, might be up there as like Scorsese's best movie. I also watched Safe, which is Todd Haynes' movie. I really enjoy his films. Gave that a 9 out of 10 as well. Really great film. And then yeah, I watched a few more. I don't need to mention all of them. I already did a ton. I also
Is it bad that when I thought you said Safe, I thought you meant the Jason Statham movie?
that is a bit odd for what I've been saying. Like this guy watches movies from like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and he's like,
that
"Oh,
was just the first thing that popped in my head."
I did watch Anaconda because I wanted to go see the new one, and I watched the older one, and I didn't get around to watching the new one yet. No rush, honestly, but
I'm probably watching that tomorrow.
And
maybe.
I also, because I was accredited for Annecy this year, I did get access to the library of all of the Oscar shortlisted animated shorts. So I watched through all of them. Honestly, none of them are like that big a standout of like being great. I did note down which ones I believe are the best and which ones will get nominated. I can put that on screen right now, but it's not interesting to go through them because there's so much context to give for all of them. And usually most people don't care about them, but there's some really well done, really they're fun little movies, but yeah, within the context of the show, we don't really talk about shorts that much. But that's my whole spiel done. I know I had a very busy week. I kept that's why there's a lot to mention. But Criterion Channel is probably the best gift you can give someone. Subscription to that if they're a film fan.
Yo, but what was your first movie of this year?
Well, I believe it was one of the last movies that you watched. Or was it also, did you watch it this year or last year? Because it's the same movie.
I watched it last year.
You watched it last year. I watched it this year, man. So far apart. Wow, crazy.
Oh my God,
crazy stuff, bro. I can't even remember last
crazy year. At the same time.
But yeah, 100 Meters. A film that came out at the last day of the year. It's kind of a crazy concept. Like only Netflix could think of it because they don't care about anything. And this one comes from the director of On Gaku Our Sound. It's such an interesting movie. I really like On Gaku quite a bit. And 100 Meters is based on a sort of magazine run from November 2018 to August of 2019 that then got serialized from a magazine pocket into a 5-volume manga series that now is adapted into a anime film over on Netflix. That is, by the way, the original writer of this is from born 1997. I was like, damn, that's a pretty young guy. So he's already working on more stuff. It feels like that has been a launching point for his career, and I think the sort of looking through the manga a bit as well. I think the way that they adapted this is as inventive as like his drawing style was. But this one is about a gifted runner who trains a determined but unskilled classmate, unaware he's creating a rival who will challenge him on the track for years to come. I would also say he challenges him on and off the track. Kevin, you were very much looking forward to this. I didn't really have it on my radar because much like many Netflix movies, they do a really bad job at advertising them to you. If you're not on the service itself in the week of release, you really don't see that stuff. It's really hard to look ahead to see what's releasing. But how did this pop on your radar, and did it deliver to the sort of the expectations you had for it?
I actually don't remember where. I think this movie popped up on my radar when we were doing the research for the best animation of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are going to Letterboxd and to see what are the people rating highly. And I think 100 Meters popped up on my radar then. And as you know, funnily enough, I did say this thing, but there's also someone I follow on Letterboxd that said it. but like it's like real ones know all sports anime are peak by default, and he says like yes, now running counts too. But like I was hyped for this movie because it's a sports anime, and the last few years you had the last Slam Dunk, which was brilliant. You had Haikyuu, the dumpster battle, which I really liked. Again, so you got like basketball, you got volleyball. Now I'm just waiting for a tennis anime that bangs, you know. I was really excited for this one. I put it on. The most interesting thing for me is that all these sports anime, they're always like a tournament. They're a game. They're a match. You know, they're one specific thing. And 100 meters, naturally, because they're running the 100 meters, you can't really stretch one run throughout the entire movie. I totally get that. So here we get something interesting is that you get different athletes' perspectives on their mental game, on how they, prepare for this, how they improve for this, how their style differs. And I think that's why 100 meters stands so apart from the other one that we've already mentioned, the last Slam Dunk, etc. And that's why I really like 100 meters. I know you weren't as fond of it as I was, but that's why this movie intrigues me so much. The fact that it opens up brilliantly with these two kids, this one kid trying to help the other one to sort of, improve his life, because he's always running, but he's always so tired and he's run out of breath. And it's like, no, wait. Fine, let me talk to you and like sort of train you through this. For him to win the school's run, and he does not participate in it so that he can win the school one as well. But that's just in the beginning of the movie, so no spoilers there. And then this evolvement of, hey, we're skipping 10 years later, and then you're skipping a few years later again. And then all of a sudden you get other characters that are coming into it, because these are youngsters. And then you have the experienced athletes that are also in there. And they have a different mentality because they aren't like, oh, I want to be the best. And it's like, no, I'm playing against myself. I want to do my personal best. I have to believe this. I have to believe this like different reality from the one that is. And that's the most intriguing stuff for me in 100 meters.
I think I never really warmed up to the speed it was at. To me, it kind of wanted to tackle a couple of bigger things, bigger topics of like the mental health of sort of how to deal with it, like the sort of ambition and the aimlessness of like locking in on one thing, and does that fulfill your life and all. It had a lot of these topics, but I feel like it didn't really have the language to, in the narrative, weave it in. It had a couple of moments that were like brilliantly visualized of sort of the anxieties, the rush of running, like a lot of that. I think it got down like incredibly well. But the rest of it, I think, kind of got a little bit, to me, a bit lost in the sauce. And I was like, oh, there's something. This is even a movie I enjoy even more in this. I just didn't really fully get that. Like, for me, the premise itself with how these two interact for the first time, it is incredibly weird to me. Like the way that he just like is running, exhausting himself, and is like the sort of pretty existential questions they have, like, oh, what are you running away from, or you're running away from something, like that sort of thing being early. I love
this. Can I just say I love these answers there. I like that is such a dark mentality that he's in the dark space. Like his answer to that question, I thought was brilliant.
And like, I feel like, to me, I don't really see that darkness in the character other than like in the story. It needed that contrast. So like, to me, it's like on this, for an anime like this, it works out that we have these tropes of characters. But when it gets so existential, so like personal, so emotional, I do want something a bit more that doesn't feel like, to me, a bit more an archetype of a character. But I feel like anime is always sort of falling into those roles. So I guess it's just like, or rarely do we step out of them. Yeah, I liked a lot of the individual moments there, and I also really enjoyed, like you said, that we don't stick around to like the tournament arc and like the revel in like the one accomplishment, but it's like over the years, and like obviously if with a narrative sort of trying to see if you can flip certain dynamics, perspectives, all of that is really rich to do in a story like this. But then it also, like I said, comes back to like all of that archetyping of a pretty what feels then like a sort of a story that is bound to play out, and it's still very worthwhile to see it play out. But I wasn't like taken in like that much by the story. But I can totally see what like when it really connects with you way more than it did with me. Like I don't think this is a bad movie per se at all. I think it's a pretty good one.
I sort of disagree with you on the archetype because again with the anime archetype you always have this, you know, I am evolving, I am getting stronger, and like that type of thing. And in this movie that isn't really the case. They even step away from the sport, and like the way they get back into it, and I feel like that is quite refreshing as well. So yeah,
it's maybe it's more of the nemesis thing that is very often in anime. But
again, we gotta talk about the animation. There is one scene specifically when it's raining, because again, I was like, wait, are we running in the rain? Like, because you never really see that. It's always dry. Because that's the way to get the most speed, the less resistance on the court or whatever, on the track. And there's one scene involving rain that is rotoscoped so beautifully when they go to the audience, when they go sideways and they're warming up. I adore that sequence. It sort of sucks that we did this that we watched this after our best of 2025, because that is such a beautiful sequence to me. Like this movie would get into, you know, my top 25. Spoilers, I guess, for the end of February when we are redoing the list. But yeah. The animation, this is absolutely stellar. Even when they're running, the way they convey speed, that adrenaline, that rush, the way that you can, you know, you be behind someone but still end up first. Most famously, Noah Lyles, you know, the medal, the guy that won gold, famously was always behind. Like if you watch the 100-meter run and like the stills of everyone, you can see he was behind everyone, but he gained in acceleration, and that's why he got in first. So I feel like they conveyed that type of race quite well as they did. So yeah, I don't really have much more to say than that besides what I already said, because this movie is quite simplistic, but my God, it bangs. Sports anime really is peak.
Yeah, to me this is like nowhere near close to the level of a first slam dunk, because I really enjoyed locking in on one thing. Yeah, I really like its ambition. For you, it's in your top 25. For me, it might be in the top 100. But I really enjoyed it still. Like I'm just saying that to egg you on.
Did you watch Haikyuu, the dumpster battle, the volleyball movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is that out? Because has it been out? For a while?
Yeah. It was my. I know it was not in my top. No, I think it's 2024.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go.
And still, I also on one of my sort of New Year's resolutions was not, you know, specifically like watch this and this. Well, it kind of was, but it's like here's a bunch of movies, here's a bunch of books, games, and TV shows that I want to read. And the one I mentioned, Ping Pong, the animation, is among the anime that I really want to see, because I think the animation is pretty simplistic, but people have praised that. I've heard that for years that's really good. So next up on my list for
Wait, what's it
anime,
called?
Ping Pong, the animation, I believe. That's pretty simple title. And I think it's an older-ish anime. I think the animation is pretty simple.
Oh, okay.
But I honestly haven't had a chance to look into it that much. But a little shout out towards the end of our episode. But that wraps us up for the first episode.
Wait, I give 100 meters an 8.7 out of 10. I think that's the reading.
Oh yeah, I do have. If I have one foreign, one pet peeve of 2026 is could you maybe have a notes app where you put in your ratings if they don't go with the fucking Letterboxd thing? Because I'm like, every time he fucking lists something and he gives it a rating and it says something, I was like, Kevin wrote something and it's fucking 8.7. 7.3, whatever. He just writes the fucking number. It's like, that is not a fucking review. You're rage baiting me with that. So
I'll try to write something next time. All right.
No, you can leave it blank. It's just, to me, like the numbers always, it cracks me up.
No.
What does Kevin think about this?
I'll write one sentence. I'll write one sentence.
Yeah.
I'll write one sentence.
You get very popular on Letterboxd with like a snarky one sentence review.
I'm still putting down the rating though. I'm just adding one sentence to it.
God damn. It doesn't make it any better. But honestly, just a little pet peeve of mine. Just all jokes and games. But what's not all jokes and games is that you might be unsubscribed to this channel, even after we did that ad read and everything, and told you to subscribe. So make sure you're locked in for that, so we pop up in your subscription feed when we have new episodes coming out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, like basically every week. We might take some breaks during the festival season, but we'll be here with lots of recommendations in your shorts, in review form, and podcast form. We'll have a ton in store this year, so very much looking forward to that.
If you don't subscribe, the flowers behind Ewan will die. And
that's a hard thing because they're not real, so they will die. They will die. Just let me tell you, they will die. Oh no, pedal just fell off. Someone unsubscribed. You better resubscribe.
No way.
The flower dies in a month if we don't get to 1,000 subscribers. No. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and
we'll see you next week.
And
bye.
Cut.